So see how comprehensively they have described a vaccine. अगर आपसे एग्जामिनर पूछता है तो आप उसको यही कहोगे कि it is something which mimics an immune response. It's a preparation that contains antigens. Vaccine में antigens हो सकते हैं, which is used to stimulate an immune response artificially, right? It may contain a whole live microorganism, जैसे मैंने आपको बताया, live attenuated. It may contain a dead one. It may contain a harmless version known as an attenuated organism, a harmless form of toxin known as toxoid, or a preparation of surface antigens. ठीक है? Vaccines can be given by injection into a vein or a muscle or taken orally by mouth. Some of the vaccines आजकल के ज़माने में they are prepared by genetic engineering, right? अच्छा. The answer to your question, Amna, some vaccines are highly effective. One injection can give a lifetime protection. जैसे कि smallpox की vaccine. दुनिया से smallpox खत्म हो चुकी है क्योंकि जब इसकी vaccination दुनिया में आई थी तो it was so effective that whoever got vaccinated himself or herself for smallpox, nobody developed smallpox, and that's the reason why कि smallpox दुनिया से खत्म हो चुकी है. It's obsolete. Then there are some less effective vaccines. They need booster injections. ठीक है, यही बात आपने की थी ना कि what's the need of getting टॉक्सॉइड जब हमें ATS लगाना पड़ता है. तो वो तो उस वैक्सीन की टाइप है कि it doesn't give you a full protection immunity for life, so it's less effective. So for that you need booster injections to keep stimulating the secondary responses that give enhanced protection. It is often a good idea to receive booster injections if you're likely to be exposed to a disease, even though you may have been vaccinated as a child. हो सकता है कि आपको टेटनस के लिए कोई वैक्सीन मिली हो बचपन में, लेकिन अगर आप गिर जाएं या फिर अगर आप जहां रह रहे हैं वहां पे एपिडेमिक हो रही है, so the chances are that you might get the disease just because के so many people around you are infected. So it's better कि आप एक बूस्टर लगवा लें तो आपकी सेकेंडरी इम्यून रिस्पॉन्स को एक थोड़ा सा बूस्ट मिल जाएगा, राइट? Herd immunity. Vaccinating a large proportion of the population provides protection for those not immunized as transmission of pathogen is reduced. Whenever there is a pathogen circulating in the environment, either it's waterborne or it's airborne या फिर COVID-19 virus है, तो हर तरफ उसका transmission cycle गोल गोल घूम रहा होता है, right? And when we took SOPs, when we were wearing masks and using sanitizers and using, washing our hands, so basically we were interrupting the transmission cycle of COVID-19. हालांकि COVID-19 पानी से नहीं फैलता था और it was not airborne, and it could not also, this virus also could not live outside the human body, लेकिन उसका transmission cycle हमें पता था कि अगर वो हमारे हाथ पे हमने किसी surface को हाथ लगा लिया और फिर उसके बाद we sort that hand touches our nose or our mouth, so then the virus can get invaded, it can invade the respiratory epithelium of your body, इस तरह से वो फैलेगा, right? So all possible measures were taken to break the transmission cycle of COVID-19. तो जो the very idea of a herd immunity is कि जब हम बहुत सारे लोगों को vaccinate करते हैं, तो what are we doing? Those people who are not vaccinated, they also get the benefit of it. Why? Because the transmission cycle of a pathogen is broken. और transmission cycle को break किया जाता है by understanding the life cycle of that pathogen. For example, अगर मैं cholera का life cycle देखूंगी तो मुझे पता चलेगा कि cholera जो है वो गंदे पानी और गंदे खानों से होता है, right? If I see the life cycle of a plasmodium तो मुझे पता चलेगा कि मच्छरों से होता है. So I will try to take measures. The standard operating procedures or the SOPs for controlling malaria will be different, and for controlling COVID-19 will be different. So all sorts of herd immunity actually gives protection for those who are not immunized because the transmission cycle of a pathogen is broken. Acha. The same thing is written over here. अगर आपसे कोई underlying biology पूछे या अंडरलाइंग मैकेनिज्म पूछे हर्ड इम्यूनिटी का, तो आपको यही बताना है कि हर्ड इम्यूनिटी इंटरप्ट्स और ब्रेक्स द ट्रांसमिशन साइकिल of a pathogen in a population, so that those who are not susceptible, who are not prone, are very unlikely, sorry, so that those who are susceptible are very unlikely to be infected by the pathogens concerned. अच्छा, एक बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट यहाँ पे एक चीज लिखी हुई है जो अक्सर स्टूडेंट से पूछी जाती है, एंड दैट इज दैट, okay, let me ask this question, anybody can answer, आमना आप बता सकती हो कि if a child is suffering from severe protein calorie malnutrition, a disease known as kwashiorkor जो आपने O levels में भी किया था, and I am a pediatrician and I am saying कि this child who is suffering from kwashiorkor should not be vaccinated, हालांकि ये बड़ा वीक है बेचारा, इसका तो इम्यून सिस्टम भी इतना वीक है, इसको तो वैक्सीन लगनी चाहिए, बट आई एम सेइंग कि इसको वैक्सीन नहीं लगनी चाहिए. Why is that?
It's because perhaps the child's immunity is so weak that it cannot even fight the vaccine. Like the weak antigens present in the vaccine, they might be powerful enough to take over the child's body.
No. In a way, you're right, but weak antigens and all this is not a biological terminology. Your answer should be
Means their immune response will be affected.
you're close to the answer. Yes, why, Parisha?
Because of the production of immune cells, antibodies.
What are antibodies biologically?
Protein.
So what is this disease? Protein deficiency?
Yes.
So जब उनके पास प्रोटीन्स ही नहीं है तो वो एंटीबॉडीज कैसे बनाएंगे? And then the result would be जो अभी आमना ने कहा कि उल्टा एंटीबॉडी बनाने के बजाय the antigen can harm them, right? So you should write the answer like this, that children with protein calorie malnutrition should not be vaccinated because and we all know that antibodies are glycoproteins. Okay. Then ring immunity. Ring immunity is that, one person is infected and at least 30%, like people who are living very close to that person in that particular area, around 30 people around him, they should be vaccinated. That also stops the transmission rate. जैसे टीबी के बारे में यहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है, I'm just going to read this. Vaccines are also used to contain the outbreaks of disease. कि कहीं पे एक खास इलाके में एक आउटब्रेक हुआ है, पेंडेमिक नहीं हुआ, but खास इलाके में outbreak हुआ है. In the UK, the BCG vaccine is not given routinely to all children to protect against tuberculosis. However, if there is an outbreak of TB, then everyone who has been in contact with the infected people and others living in that area concerned are vaccinated to stop the spread of TB. This is an example of ring immunity, ensuring that people living in the area where an outbreak has occurred provide a zone of immunity to prevent spread into the wider population. आजकल के ज़माने में, कोविड के ज़माने में, ring immunity was also given. Does somebody know what was the name of that ring immunity which was given in COVID, in which not all people were vaccinated in one city? परीक्षा आपको पता होना चाहिए, कराची में ये बहुत हुआ था. स्मार्ट लॉकडाउन याद है परीक्षा?
Yes, miss.
स्मार्ट लॉकडाउन पता है क्या? व्हाट इज स्मार्ट लॉकडाउन?
It's from certain period of time the nobody was allowed to go outside.
Certain period of time also, in certain areas also. There were areas of Gulshan Iqbal, there were areas of Sadar, जहाँ पे ज्यादा number of cases है तो वहां पे लॉकडाउन हुआ था. पूरा शहर बंद नहीं हुआ था, right? So initially there was a lockdown in the whole world, and then as the intensity or the number of frequency of people started decreasing and there was more control on the disease, then people switched on to smart lockdown to be more realistic and practical. Acha. As of 2019, no vaccination program has repeated the success of smallpox eradication program. A vaccine for measles was introduced in the 1960s. However, a program of one-dose vaccination has not eliminated the disease in any country despite high coverage of population. This is explained by the poor response to the vaccine shown by some children who need at least one booster to develop full immunity. In large cities with high birth rates and shifting populations, it can be difficult to give boosters. अच्छा, अब ये सारी जो चीजें हैं ना, ये आपको ऐसे ओपन एंडेड क्वेश्चंस आते हैं एग्जाम में. आपको कोई भी एग्जाम्पल दे देंगे, लेट्स से कि आपको एक बैकग्राउंड एग्जाम्पल देंगे स्मॉल पॉक्स की, कहेंगे कि भाई स्मॉल पॉक्स दुनिया से इरेडिकेट हो गई, बट डिस्पाइट द फैक्ट दैट मीजल्स वैक्सीनेशन प्रोग्राम इज बीइंग इंडक्टेड सिंस 1960s, लेकिन अभी तक दुनिया में मीजल्स है, राइट? व्हाई? The answer can be many different kinds of answers. You can say that in the developing countries, children are malnourished. ठीक है, उनको खाना नहीं मिलता. They are suffering from kwashiorkor. They are suffering from starvation. So that's why the response to vaccines in such children is very poor. ठीक है, फिर आप ये कह सकते हो कि since there are lack of funds, so because of that the not sufficient money is available to sort of pay the health workers or to store the vaccine at a certain cold temperature, और वो सारी जो आपकी जो लॉजिस्टिक्स है ना वैक्सीन की, वो इंटरप्ट हो जाती हैं, और इस वजह से अगर वैक्सीन मिलती भी है बच्चों को तो इट हैज बीन एक्सपायर्ड और इट इज नॉट केप्ट एट अ प्रॉपर टेम्परेचर. फिर एक और आप वजह बता सकते हो कि लैक ऑफ मेडिकल अवेयरनेस, दैट the parents they don't want to vaccinate their children, they think कि इसकी वजह से वो ज्यादा बीमार हो जाएंगे. ठीक है, तो lack of health facilities है. एक और बता सकते हो कि it becomes difficult for the health workers to go in remote areas of village where they feel unsafe, insecure, and war struck areas हैं, areas of natural calamities हैं. तो these are like ओपन एंडेड आंसर्स हैं, जो कि इस तरह के क्वेश्चंस आपको बहुत बहुत मिलेंगे पास पेपर्स में. और देखो ये भी यहाँ पे भी यही डिस्कशन हो रही है कि इन लार्ज सिटीज, for example, if somebody says large city or large province like the province of Sindh or the city of Karachi, it's such a mega city that it's so difficult to have a very smooth and foolproof mechanism of every child getting access to vaccine. High birth rates हैं, shifting populations हैं, it can be difficult to give boosters, follow up case of measles and trace the contacts. Measles is highly infectious, and migrants and refugees can form reservoirs of infection, experiencing epidemics within their communities and spreading the disease to surrounding populations. It is estimated that herd immunity of 93 to 95% is required to prevent transmission in a population. यानी आप सोचें कि मीजल्स को रोकने के लिए आपको हर्ड इम्यूनिटी कितनी चाहिए? 93 to 95% है. अच्छा, हर डिजीज के लिए इतनी हर्ड इम्यूनिटी नहीं चाहिए होती है, बट द रीजंस मीजल के लिए चाहिए वो ये है, इसका रीजन ये है कि मीजल्स इज अ वेरी वेरी हाईली इन्फेक्शियस डिजीज. In one cough or in one sneeze, a person can actually throw millions of viruses in one droplet of a sneeze या cough. तो फिर आप सोचें कि वो कितने ज्यादा दूसरे लोगों को इन्फेक्ट कर सकता है. ठीक है, तो इसका मतलब हुआ कि अगर आपको मीजल्स को इरेडिकेट करना है किसी पॉपुलेशन में, और स्पेशली ओवरक्राउडेड अर्बनाइज्ड पॉपुलेशन लाइक कराची, you have to have a 93 to 95% herd immunity. As the currently available measles vaccine has a success rate of 95%, this means that the whole population needs to be vaccinated. और ये करना बड़ा मुश्किल होता है. Many countries struggle to achieve 80% coverage with measles vaccination, and therefore it is likely that the disease will persist for many years to come. इस पे बहुत सवाल आता है. You should prepare, you should go through past papers and watch for those questions जिसमें आपको ये question मिलेगा कि भाई आपको एक मैप दे देंगे, they will show you a world map or the map of any country, and they will ask you, जैसे इस तरह का कोई आपको दे देंगे, right? And they'll ask you कि अच्छा WHO, UNICEF इतना काम कर रही है लेकिन number of measles जो है वो इतने सही तौर पे कम नहीं हुए हैं. So discuss the possible reasons, explain why this is so. So then you have to talk about it. कुछ तो आपको of course textbook से याद रखना है और कुछ अपने common sense से जो है वो करना है, right? Okay girls, it's enough for today. And we will continue inshallah on Monday.